VRO stands for Verified Rights Owner Program. It's a list of brands on eBay. They all live on one page. I'll link it in the description, where brands can put up little blurbs, legalese that basically say, don't sell our stuff if it's counterfeit and don't use our intellectual property. There are a handful of brands that abuse this system to turn the screws on sellers who have listed their stuff, their products, or have used the wrong keywords in their titles and descriptions, and it causes all kinds of problems, can cause account suspensions. When you look at that list, it looks really intimidating, and it really isn't. Most of the brands on that list are not going to cause problems for you. In fact, the brands that do cause problems tend to not be the ones that are actually represented on the VRO list. This is an internal frustration of eBay sellers, that the VRO list is kind of not all that useful, and it's not clear where the demarcations are between the good brands and the asshole brands that are really gonna come after you. I'm going to talk first about how to avoid these kinds of VRO claims from brands in general, and then the specific brands that are the bad actors. Tip number one to avoid VRO claims, and I can say this as someone who has never gotten a VRO claim. Fingers crossed that that lasts. One, don't sell counterfeits. This is easier said than done. There are all kinds of brands that get counterfeited. The most well-known ones, the ones that you anticipate being counterfeited, are the big luxury houses like Versace, like Gucci, Dolce & Gabbana. Everybody knows that those brands are counterfeited. Not as many people know that kind of mid-tier brands are counterfeited as well. You need to develop an eye for it and to be a little bit circumspect. If you're a new reseller with clothing and you don't know really what to look for, if you see poor craftsmanship or poor quality, if the tags look stupid and weird, it may be a sign that it's counterfeited. And it's hard to tell because all of those brands are made in sweatshops and the quality is very, very low. Allegedly they're made in sweatshops in Minecraft or whatever. You just really need some experience under your belt to be able to spot what doesn't look right. But if there is any doubt, and if you find one of those bigger, more famous brands, either luxury or streetwear, like the big famous, Bathing Ape or Supremes, go online and research the authentication process, research the counterfeiting tells. There are whole websites dedicated to giving you every little detail in a very granular way to be able to spot what's fake and what's not. If you still are questioning your own judgment, contemplate sending it into a consignment site or selling it locally. Consider not listing it on at least your primary reselling platform. Maybe you have a burner Poshmark account, maybe you have a burner Depop account, where if it did end up being faked and you lost that account, it wouldn't be a huge tragedy. Or passing the liability off to something like The RealReal and have them list it for you and go through the authentication process. Because even if you stand to make like 300 bucks on a Versace jacket, if there is questionable authenticity, you could lose your entire eBay account on a potentially permanent basis for selling a counterfeit, the wrong counterfeit, especially if you have a track record of having run afoul of the VRO program or having questions about your account. And two, do not use stock photography and do not copy off of these companies' websites in the product descriptions for your own listings. Just don't do it. It's really stupid roll of the dice, in my opinion. And I think the temptation is strong, especially on Poshmark. I think that's more commonly done. They really hate on all sides when you do this. The platforms don't like it because they don't like dropshippers, and it flags you as a potential dropshipper when you do that. And also because the companies especially really hate it when you steal their intellectual property that oftentimes they paid thousands of dollars to produce themselves. For your own benefit. And sometimes maybe it's these companies being overly punitive and just not wanting the competition, but sometimes you stole their intellectual property and they have total legal justification for taking action against you in whatever form they feel appropriate. I will start with clothing specific brands. There aren't all that many of them. These are the brands that have a confirmed, to my mind, or rumored track record of actually causing problems for resellers. Let's start with Grunt Style, which is a new addition to my VRO brand knowledge. Bob buys just got her account suspended for 3 days by Grunt Style. And I've made an Instagram post about it, and somebody commented that apparently they also ran afoul of Grunt Style on the same day. Grunt Style makes super cool, so funny t-shirts, just simply hilarious graphic t-shirts. They used to be a brand that I recommended selling because the sales velocity was pretty high. They were pretty in demand. Thankfully, the brand is in the shitter. They are no longer all that popular anyway, so just don't sell them. Of the luxury brands, apparently Chanel is the most litigious. They're the one to be the most careful with. And apparently it's mostly the fragrances that are the big, huge risk that they really don't want you selling, but clothing can cause problems too. And this goes for shoes as well, for a lot of these brands. Just tread very, very lightly with Chanel, as you should with all luxury brands, but especially with Chanel. The two really famous ones with clothing are, one, Velcro. Velcro is a trademarked word. Don't use it in your titles or in your description. The company that owns Velcro, it might just be Velcro, I don't know, are really punitive, and it's a really easy way to get a Vero strike on your account. So just don't use Velcro anywhere, even apparently if it's legit Velcro. Just don't even use the word. The euphemism most people use is hook and loop, which is terribly clumsy and it sounds dumb, but that's kind of the accepted one. I've also heard hook and clasp, which is even worse to me, but some people do use that. Onesie is another trademarked word, and they have a track record of creating issues for resellers. Use one piece instead, or bodysuit. Kevlar apparently causes problems for some people. It's owned by DuPont. You do find Kevlar fabric from time to time. I have a pair of Kevlar jeans that are currently listed, and I don't use the word Kevlar. I have seen this a couple times. I scoured through a bunch of Reddit threads about Vero suspensions, trying to figure out which of these are real and which of these are just kind of rumors. Kevlar seems to be one that people have had problems with. Gore-Tex, I have heard a couple times, is problematic, but I can't find anything online to really substantiate that. So this is just something that I have heard. I don't know that it is true. If you find a piece with one of these proprietary fabrics or forbidden words in it, I saw a true crime documentary about a species of criminal that will create photo collages for their thumbnail that display the article of clothing as well as a close-up of the tag that has the problem word on it. And these people are of course disgusting perverts, and they should be behind bars, and I would never do such a thing. Using the word ivory to describe color can create problems. It can automatically flag the listing as potentially selling actual ivory, which of course is extremely illegal. So use some kind of synonym. I usually just use cream on my beautiful face. Apparently Monster Energy has gone after resellers. I've sold tons of Monster Energy stuff, and I haven't seen any recent reports of Monster Energy giving people Vero stuff, but apparently a few years ago it was a big problem. So Monster Energy might be something to be on the lookout for, maybe. But again, I've sold a ton of it, never had a problem. I have heard numerous times that selling new with tags North Face is potentially risky, and it has to do with something about their warranty policy. If you look at the solds on eBay, there are thousands of sold listings of new with tags North Face, and I don't know if this is just a rumored thing or if it's still relevant, if people still are having problems with North Face. Obviously this rumor doesn't exist in a void. It's probably caused problems for people before. I don't know how big of a risk it is. I've sold new with tags North Face a couple times. I just don't find it all that much. And I didn't have any problems. Other people may have had problems. And if you have with any of these brands, or if there's brands missing, please leave me a comment and I'll accumulate all those brands into a sticky note. Same story with Patagonia. I've heard that new with tags Patagonia can cause those problems. Everything that I said about North Face applies to Patagonia as well. I just don't know how true that rumor is. Outside of clothing, a lot of us sell stuff that is not clothing, other niches. Let's go through the big, well-known, famous ones. One of the biggest zero risks is the P90X workout equipment company. They sell DVDs and workout gear and stuff, and it's the same company that owns Beachbody, which is also apparently risky, and the Insanity workout, and something called PIYO, P-I-Y-O, which just makes me want to go beast mode even hearing it. Apparently those are high risk. I have also heard that Tybo is similarly verboten. In a lot of these Reddit threads that I read, people again and again said that water filters of any brand, especially like refrigerator water filters, just don't sell because it causes issues. Samsung is cited often as the worst offender. I've sold water filters not knowing about this a couple times. I didn't have any problems, but people say this a lot, so apparently it is a big deal. Same deal with Norelco razors. There's a couple phone case companies, OtterBox and LifeProof, are both known to go after resellers, especially OtterBox. This crops up in basically everybody's Vero list. Wallet Ninja, don't know what Wallet Ninja is. One would assume wallets. Oyo Toys, O-Y-O, which I wonder, I know that the Hooters Hotel and Casino in Vegas was rebranded as the OYO Hotel. So do they also make children's toys? This was a surprise to me. Printer ink, I guess, can be pretty touch and go. So any kind of third-party, non-mainstream branded printer ink may cause you problems. And even HP, I guess if you sell legitimate, authentic HP ink, they can still come after you for some reason, according to the internet. Gerber, the baby food company, are assholes, allegedly, in Minecraft. Frisbee, the Frisbee company, using Frisbee to describe non-Frisbee branded flying discs, or whatever you want to call them. Cards Against Humanity are too random to allow you to sell their product. Again and again, I saw people mentioning car parts of various brandings being flagged for Vero violations. I don't sell any of them. I don't know anything about it, but I guess you have to be really careful with car parts. This was really crazy. Apparently, the company Nordic Wear has attempted to claim the word bunt for themselves, B-U-N-D-T, as in bunt cake. If you use bunt to describe a pan, like a bunt cake pan, I guess Nordic Wear will come in and throw their weight around at you. Blue Parrot headphones, have never heard of them, never seen them. Rosetta Stone is one that gets cited a lot, the language learning programs. I have sold Rosetta Stone before I knew that it was a big famous Vero brand. But I guess avoid them. And also people I see are getting in trouble for selling medical devices, which they shouldn't really be anyway on eBay because you're forbidden from doing it. I don't know how people still are if they're listing in alternative categories or whatever. Do not sell medical devices, not just because you can't, but because you open yourself to legit legal liability if you sell something to someone and it doesn't work properly and they end up getting injured or killed as a result. You can go to prison probably, I would think. I'm not a lawyer, which is an important disclaimer. This is not legal advice. This is just hearsay from a man in a hat. And people get in trouble also for selling drugs. I mean, so to recap in terms of clothing, the big ones, as far as I know, are Chanel, Kevlar, onesie, Velcro, and grunt style.